Today I'm going to be pulling off the Bushwhacker fender flares on my Toyota FJ Cruiser to see, one, how much mud and dirt has gotten trapped behind them, and two, if any of that mud and dirt has gotten between this rubber seal and the paint, and if that has scratched the paint. Now, this is a 2007 Toyota FJ Cruiser, and as you can see, I'm running the Bushwhacker brand fender flares. They're a company that make aftermarket fender flares for the Toyota FJ Cruiser and many other vehicles. These fender flares do provide the best fitment compared to the other ones, from what I could tell. I do a fair amount of off-roading, as I will have clips pop up, and I have had mud fully covering this thing, so I feel like this is a good test to see how much mud and dirt are blocked out from behind the fender flares. Now, I don't care how much mud and dirt has gotten trapped underneath them, but I'm mostly concerned about how much mud and dirt has gotten trapped between this rubber seal and the paint, because if you get mud and dirt trapped between the rubber seal and the paint, road vibrations, that ends up causing scratches. So I'm going to pull both the front and the rear off on this side only and video that. I'll pull the other side off and clean it, but I know that there is mud and dirt trapped behind it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean that off and then just look at just video some of the scratches that have hopefully not developed, but I'm expecting probably have developed. Now, I do also have an installation video on these fender flares, everything that I had to go through in the process, and trying to make it where it is as reversible as possible so I could put the factory ones back on if I had to. That video is down in the description, so please check that out if you are at all curious about installing these fender flares. Now, both of the fender flares are off for the front and the rear, just on this side, and in some ways it's not as bad as I was expecting, and in other ways it is worse than what I was expecting. I was thinking I would have more mud covering here, but the fender flares have done a good job of keeping the mud off of there, and only a little bit of dirt and dust has gotten through. But you can see there's a clear line where you can tell where the rubber seal was on all the way around, and then on the front it's the same thing, but it's not as bad. You can see there's a clear line. That's where that rubber seal was. The way that I always wash this is I pressure wash it just to get all the dirt off quickly, and I don't have to worry about getting dust and dirt in a rag and scratching more of the paint with that dirty rag. So I'm going to get my pressure washer out and just wash all this dirt and dust off, and then inspect it a little bit closer. So I finished pressure washing it, and I've pressure washed all of the dirt off. I have a pretty low powered electric pressure washer. I've dried it off just to the best that I can, or at least around the areas where the fender flares were. And you can look and you can see the places where it was scratched the most. So like there's a place that looks like it vibrated kind of up and down right here on this corner. So it kind of vibrated up and down, and the same thing like right along in here. There's some scratches where it's just vibrated up and down, and then down here it looks like it's the worst part of the side. So I have some industrial strength polish that's made by Malco, M-A-L-C-O. They're not sponsoring me or anything, but I'm going to go over where these scratches were and see if I can polish them out. Some of these look pretty deep. Like if I look up here in the front, like right here, this looks like it's the deepest, going all the way around, and then just some rubbing around here all the way up top of the fender. That was there when I bought it. Those gashes, I'm not sure what that's from, branch maybe. And then all the way around, this is some dirt that I didn't get off completely, and then some scratches over here along the front. And oh, actually this looks probably like the worst spot right there, right under the turn signal, way down. But there is a clear line all the way around. I don't really see any open clean spots. It just looks like it's done some pretty even rubbing all the way around, which for one, it speaks to the fitment of the Bushwhacker fender flares, that they do hug the paint all the way around. But the bad side of that is if dirt does get underneath, well, you get this. Now, fortunately for me, I have a friend that has a vinyl plotter, and I've already expected this as a possibility, so I've been talking with him about printing the vinyl pieces out that will protect the paint from Bushwhacker fender flares, which just involves me digitally drawing it all out to the curve of the Bushwhacker fender flares, and then sending that digital design to him so that he can print it out. When that's done, I will be selling them on my website, and I will have a link down in the description below, and I'll probably try to put them up on Amazon and eBay if I can, just to get them out there so that people can protect their paint. And I did just finish polishing this little section here, this little 2-foot section on the top back side of the fender with the Malco Rejuvenator. And as you can see, I mean, there's still a little bit of a line there, but most of it is gone. But there are still scratches there. That's it for this video. Thanks a lot for watching. Make sure you like this video and share it with your friends that may be thinking about getting Bushwhacker fender flares, or may already have Bushwhacker fender flares on their vehicle and they're not really expecting this to be a problem. And make sure you subscribe for other future videos that are like this, modification stuff. I've got a lot of videos on what I've already done to this, so if you want to check the links in the description down below for those. A lot of the stuff that I've done to this I also videoed, so check those out. And yeah, thanks a lot. God bless you guys.